Hey there tech fans, Rick here again with another review, and today I have a heavy-duty 30-amp RV surge protector from our friends over at TGBOX that provides all the protection you'll need for your RV the next time you plug in at a campsite. Now before I get too deep into all the details of what this product provides, I always like to start with an unboxing just to show you everything that's included with the kit, and that way you'll understand what you get if you buy this product. And then I'll explain what makes this product so special, because there are a lot of different surge protectors out there for RVs, but not all of them include the features that this product provides. This company has thought through the protection you need when you plug your RV into a public utility, especially if there's a lightning strike in the area. You want to make sure you have an RV surge protector that will keep that electrical surge away from the electronics inside your RV. And TGBOX has built in all the features you care about in this particular unit. And then I'll take a closer look at it and explain the indicators, because there's some diagnostics built in. I'll show you the connectors. And then finally, I'll come back and point out a few things that I really like about this product that you can use to compare it to others you may be considering. So let's get started with the unboxing. When you open up the box, you'll find two things inside: the surge protector and an expandable cable you can use to lock this to the utility pole, because you have to remember, you're at a camping site, you've plugged this into a pole, there's a lot of other people around, you've spent a little bit of money on the surge protector, you don't want somebody sneaking over there, unplugging it, and walking off with it. So this lock is really nice because you can actually cable it to this and lock it right to the utility pole. And the surge protector is included as well. Now, some of the features that really separate this from the competition include things like the weatherproof case. A lot of the other surge protectors are just a single unit that you plug into the outlet and then plug your RV into that. They're not really protected against the elements. With this one, the actual connection you'll make to your RV is in here, and you can close this, and there's a little divot down here for the cable coming from your RV to plug in. So this is going to hang on the utility pole, and the bottom down here will have your cable to the RV. I also love the fact that they put these little finger hooks back here, because a lot of the units on the market are just the head. And even though you can pull it out, you really got to work at it to get it out of there. And you have to remember, this is high voltage right here. So if you inadvertently wrap your fingers around here when you're trying to unplug it, you're going to get a pretty good shock. So having these little finger holes back here means that I can put my fingers here completely safe and unplug it from that utility pole. So that's a really nice touch. The unit itself can handle 30 amps of current, which is the maximum you're going to find on most of those utility poles, and that's plenty of power for the average RV. But the really important part is the protection against lightning strikes. This unit has 7 different diagnostics built in. So when you first plug it into the utility, it'll let you know if the wiring is correct, if there are issues with the power, if there's any kind of strange things going on. The indicators inside will let you know that. But once you're plugged in and you've plugged your RV in, the lightning protection in here is pretty complete. For starters, it'll handle a 2100 joule jolt. Now that's a lot of power. So if lightning strikes somewhere nearby and that voltage is coming down the line, this will protect you from that voltage up to 2100 joules. And it has 3 different complementary protections built in. It's got TVS, MOV, and CDT, which is another one that is really not found on a lot of other units out there. A lot of the units on the market have 1 or 2 of those, but not all 3 of them, and they all work in conjunction to provide the ultimate protection against any kind of surge online. And it doesn't have to be a lightning strike. It just be somebody in a camper nearby that shorted something out, and then that ripple comes down the line, and it's called noise. You get the noise through the line, and it gets into your electronics, and the next thing you know, you unplug, move to the next location, and all of a sudden something's not working because you got zapped at the last location you were in. So having 3 levels of protection really means that any kind of noise on the line is going to be shut down by this surge suppressor. And the last thing I like about it is the locking collar. I think this is a great addition, because even though you can string a cable through here, this is plastic. You can cut this with a pair of wire cutters. This is really heavy duty. I don't think it's actually steel, now that I'm feeling it. I haven't locked it onto a pole yet, but it's a steel lock on there. So there's no way to get this off without having a set of wire cutters. And honestly, if somebody's coming to your camping site with a set of wire cutters to remove this from the pole, you got bigger issues than losing your surge protector. So I like that. It's enough to say to somebody, look, maybe move on. This isn't the one you want to steal because I've got it locked to the pole. So that's pretty much it for the surge protector. And again, there's a ton of diagnostics built in with indicators right here that are going to let you know all the conditions that may be wrong with the power you're plugging into. So when you get to the campsite, the first thing you'll want to do is plug this into the utility. and look at those lights. If it comes up clean, then plug your RV in. But if you see any of those error conditions, you want to make sure you go over to the maintenance shack or whoever's going to run that campsite and say to them, hey, I'm trying to plug into a pole over here and you've got some issues with your electricity, and they'll sort that out for you. So if you stay tuned next, what I'll do is take a closer look at the unit and again point out some of the things that really make it special and show you all the connections. And then I'll come back at the end and talk a little bit about what I like about this unit, just to remind you of the things you can use to compare it to other products. Inside the kit, you'll find the 30 amp RV surge protector, as well as a really nice combination lock with a coiled cable attached that you can use to secure this to the utility pole. You'll pass this through the security ring and lock it nice and tight to keep it in place. You can also set the combination to a number that's easier to remember. And the security ring has got a big enough hole in it where you can use a bike lock or a chain with even a bigger lock if you want for better security. Now the unit itself provides NEMA connectors on both ends. This end is a TT30 plug. This end is a TT30 receptacle, and that's the most common hookup you'll find at most camping sites. When you arrive on site, you'll want to plug this into the utility pole first and wait a minute or two, and then read these diagnostic LEDs and compare those to the chart below. I think it's really nice they put the chart right here so you don't have to run inside the RV and find the chart. But read these LEDs. If it comes up green, you're good to go. You can plug in your RV here and then use the power. If you find any kind of diagnostic errors as listed in this chart right here, you'll want to contact the site manager and let them know that you've got issues with the power. I like the fact that the cable is short and it's flexible. It's going to hang down like this most times, but you don't want it hanging down too far where this actually touches the ground. So it's short enough to keep it up off the ground, but flexible enough to move it around if you need to. I also like the fact that they've got a weatherproof cover on it here. A lot of the units have this type of base, but it's wide open. And if it rains, you're going to get electronics inside damaged by that rain. Also, if the water rolls down here, you're going to corrode these contacts over time and corrode the connections on the plug you're plugging in from your RV. And that's going to cause issues because it's going to limit the amount of current you can actually drain through the circuit. And this is in series with your RV and the power. I really like the fact that they put the weatherproof cover on it too, again, to keep the rain out of there. And there's a nice little hole in the bottom where your cable can hang out to your RV and not be kinked up. That's pretty much it for the unit. I think they've done a great job. I even like the yellow color because it's really like high visibility, so I know where it is in the RV when I've got to find it. I hope that closer look was helpful. Now here are a few really important things to keep in mind when you're comparing the TGBOX RV surge protector to others you may be considering. The first thing has to do with the style of connectors on the product. You want to make sure that any surge protector you're considering has the same style of plugs as your RV to make the connection easier. In this case, the product provides a standard NEMA TT30 plug, TT30 receptacle, which is the most common hookup you're going to find at camping sites. It can also handle 30 amps of current. Another key difference is the diagnostics, and I can't stress this enough. You have no idea what you're plugging into at that campsite. I'm sure the power is fine at most of them, but with this unit, you can plug it into that public utility first and look at the diagnostics. The unit's going to test that electricity that's available at the pole, and it's going to let you know if anything strange is going on, if there's a floating ground, if the voltage is off, if there's noise on the line. So the recommendation is always plug this in first, check the diagnostics, make sure that everything comes up clean, and then plug your RV into it. If you don't have that kind of diagnostics in your surge protector, you're basically just plugging it in and crossing your fingers, and if there's something strange going on with that electricity, that dirty electricity is going to get into your RV and it could damage your electronics. The surge protection is super important as well. That's the whole reason you're buying the product. This unit can handle a surge of up to 2100 joules, which is a massive surge. So if a lightning strike takes place nearby, you're going to be protected for the most part. But more importantly, it's not always a lightning strike that takes out your electronics. It could be somebody else in the campground doing something funky with the power and shorting something out or drawing too much current, or who knows what they're doing, but they're sending ripples down the line that everybody has to receive. If you've got this plugged in, they're going to stop right there at the surge protector. They're not going to get inside your RV. And again, it's got 3 levels of complementary surge protection built in, where a lot of the other units picks one of those 3 and uses that for the surge protection. So you're covered completely from a surge protection perspective. The other thing that's nice about this is the cable's long enough to hang off of the pole, but not too long where it's laying on the ground. So I like the fact that it's up off the ground. I also love the fact that it's got a waterproof cover on it. Some of the other units out there hang off the pole, but this part where you plug into isn't protected, and over time you're going to get water on your plug for the RV. It's going to get dirty, it's going to get corroded. By having this cover, any rain or other water that comes down is going to go off the edge of this and fall out. It's not going to touch your plug. It has a locking collar. Now I know that seems like a small thing, But honestly, it's not like anybody at the campsite's going to walk over and steal it, but you never know. I mean, you're among a lot of people out there that you've never met before. So if you put this on the pole, you can immediately use the included cable to sort of lock it to the pole. And it's not like they can't walk up with a pair of wire cutters and cut the thing off. But what I'm getting at is it puts you in a position to say, look, I'm just protecting the device. I don't want anybody messing around with the device. And if somebody sees that cable on there, they're going to think, maybe I won't mess with it. So it just gives you peace of mind that it's plugged in and it's safe and it's protected as best you can. And that's pretty much all I had for today. I think the product is really well designed. The engineering behind it is solid. I love the fact that it's got diagnostics built in. I also like the fact that it can handle a major surge like 2100 joules while conducting 30 amps of current to your RV. So it's pretty much everything you need in an RV surge protector in a nice little kit. So hopefully you found this review helpful. I really enjoyed doing it. So until next time, thanks for watching. Stay nerdy.